Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Firstly, thank you all for coming. It's great to see so many of you already in the participants list. Looking forward to really transferring my knowledge to you in a succinct way. So this really is all about SEO, so it's search engine optimization, and really our method to make sure that you're ranking as fast as possible without wasting time, effort, or money. So I want to transfer sort of our strategy for ranking websites so you can go ahead and implement it for yourself. Before we start, this is going to be quite fast paced. We've got a lot to get through and I want to not take too much of your time. It's really an actionable overview made to be as useful as possible in a short time period. So take notes. I will be recording this, as you probably know, so I'll send you the replay afterwards, but I want to get through as much as possible. As I said, this is about SEO, and ultimately it's about growing your business using the internet. Really, the internet is the number one tool in our arsenal today to grow businesses. And really, this webinar is pure content about SEO. There's no sales pitch involved. And my goal, as I said, is to transfer some of my knowledge to you so you can go ahead and implement it and ultimately grow your business. So why should you be watching this? Really, I want to give you a clear understanding of how SEO can grow your business and the exact steps you need to take to boost the number of new clients you are getting through your website and Google. And ultimately, I've spent a lot of time and money over the years on SEO, pay-per-click marketing, internet marketing in general. And really, I want you to avoid making the same mistakes that I made in my early days, which ultimately saves you money and lost opportunity. If you can be doing the right thing from the start, just avoiding time wasted. Now, in 2021, we've got really a unique opportunity. More and more people are searching for your services online. That's a given. But the great thing, and something that I want to sort of transfer to you, is it's actually a lot more than you think. Competition does exist, but a strong SEO effort can put you on top. And really the benefit of being on top for your key sort of search terms is huge. Generally with the SEO side of things, when someone's searching on Google, they have a high buyer intent, meaning they want your services generally immediately, and they're almost ready to spend money. So you need to be there to answer the phone or reply to their email, and you've got a new lead. Another great thing, in 2021, people know how to use Google and they know how to use it quite well. So sometimes the big search terms are great, but more often than not, targeting sort of hundreds of long tail keywords, and I'll explain what they are in a moment, can be very profitable and a lot easier. So in this, going to go through SEO, the opportunity, who I am, and the pillars of growing your business. So start off with, who am I? Why should you be listening to me? Despite my age, I've done this for quite a few years, 10 plus years in the digital marketing space. I've grown businesses from literally $0 to multi-million dollars in sales solely through Google. Google certified in search, ads, analytics. I'm a speaker and a youth chair at the Mental Health Foundation of Australia. So here's a common question I get. Is SEO still important? It's been around for so long. Should we still be focusing on it? And absolutely. But what is it? As you'd know, SEO stands for search engine optimization. It's really the process of improving your rankings, generally on Google, although other search engines exist. Improving your rankings on their search engine results page. Often we shorten that to the SERP. You'd all know what this looks like, but essentially you've got a Google search with the keyword that you've entered. You've got your paid ads at the top, and then your organic listings. Now, generally somewhere in between here, you'll often get a map pack or a knowledge panel, but for the most part, this is what you're looking at, where you've got your ads on top and then your organic listings just below. So those ads on top, those are Google ads, and they're pay per click. You are literally paying every time someone clicks. Now, we do a lot of pay per click advertising for clients, which is absolutely great. You can get results from day one. However, if you stop paying, you stop showing up. Secondly, ad blindness is a very real thing where people are getting more used to seeing ads and simply their brain ignores them. And thirdly, ad blockers. More and more people are using ad blockers where simply your ads won't be showing up. So pay-per-click is great. It can be good to start off with to get leads coming in straight away if you're a new business, or generally we use it as something to supplement your SEO efforts. SEO being your core sort of campaign to grow your business over time. Here's why SEO is important. More than 70% of the clicks on the search engine results page go to the organic listings. Organic listings being the free listings that you're trying to improve and rank up on Google. And really with SEO, that the key part here is the effort that you put in today will reward you for the months and years to come. So it's not a matter of buying some ads, showing up, getting some clicks, getting some clients, and that's it. SEO really is a compounding effort where the effort you put in will create return really into eternity. For as long as Google exists, if you're ranking, you'll be getting customers. And another thing I really want to transfer to you is there is a serious amount of volume, hundreds, if not thousands of people searching for your keywords related to your services every single month in your area. Being in front of those people naturally is important. And it's really the best way to consistently get new clients through the internet. Ultimately, it's a bit of a funnel. It's a funnel system where you have the searches at the top and a new customer down the bottom. And with SEO, it's all about numbers. Excuse me. We have tools essentially that can show you how many searches certain keywords are getting every single month. And a good example here, very low estimate, is about 1,000 searches for your service type in your area. At a 30% click-through rate, so 30% of people click through to your website, which is pretty standard if you're number 1, 2, or 3 on the organic listings, that's 300 visitors per month. If 1 in 4 of those converts to a phone call or a contact form request, that's 75 leads per month. Naturally, you can see what that would do for your business. And again, 1,000 searches per month is really the low end. So it's very clear that there are new clients to be had on Google, but it's what you're here for. How do we actually get them? How do we do this? So Google has about 300 ranking factors that we know of. These are sort of things that Google takes into account when deciding whether one website should show up as compared to another. But really, the 2 things you need to understand is the 2 key areas or key pillars that we'll be going through in this session. You can do these 2 things really well, and you're almost guaranteed to grow your business on a consistent, reliable basis. These are the cornerstones of what you need to be doing to show up online. And naturally, with Google these days, in your service types, you're going to be getting leads. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot more involved. It can get very deep, but really, it doesn't need to be difficult. If you're implementing the stuff we'll go through right now, you will be way ahead than probably 95% of your competitors. Often people just have a basic website with no sort of structure and campaign and strategy behind it, whereas just implementing these things will put you ahead of them almost immediately. Again, this can be very deep. We can go into 4 hours into each pillar, but what I want to sort of transfer to you here are the must-haves and things you can really take away after today's session and go ahead and implement for your business. So, number 1, website structure and GMB. I'll go into GMB in a moment. So, what makes a good website, right? A good website primarily comes down to 2 things: structure and content, right? In the SEO space, your website is built for 2 people: Google itself and then visitors or your potential customers. So we need to cater to both of them. The best way to do that is breaking down your key content, usually your key services, into what we call silos or content silos. And this is a bit of a diagram of how that works. So you've got your website as a whole, and then you've got your content silos. Here we've got 3, generally your key services. So have a think about what your key services might be. Generally, they're broad topics. You might have 2, 3, 4 or more. And this is the way your website needs to be structured. So you'll have your homepage, and then generally you have your services tab. And that should be a dropdown that shows these 3, 4, 5 silos. When someone clicks on one of those silos, it needs to take them to a separate service page specific to that service, with content answering questions specific to that service and not mentioning any others. So really, we want to segment our services across the website in a logical way. That shows Google relevancy. So each page has high relevancy to that service and that keyword, as well as having supporting content. And supporting content really is blog posts or other internal pages that link back to your main silo pages here. So it's a top-down structure broken down logically into your key services with supporting content. Now, the natural next question is, what do you put on each page? The number one thing is answering questions that people have about your services, right? So think about what clients ask you when they call you or send a contact form request. What do they want to know before they engage you for your services? Probably a good idea, just take out pen and paper at some point and write down key questions that clients ask you. And then have a think of, if you were a potential customer, what would you want to know about each key service? Now, there are some online tools that can help you. Keywordtool.io is free. We use ahrefs.com. It's usually a couple $100 a month. What you can do is type in your keywords, and it'll actually show you questions that people are searching. And then you can literally just grab these questions, put them on your website, and answer them. Answer them in a concise, sort of useful, valuable way. It's a really good way to never run out of content ideas. There's millions of questions someone can ask about your business and your services. All you need to do is answer them. Now, naturally, implementing this structure means your website's not simply a brochure. I'm sure you know that most websites these days are simply a brochure, like, here, hey, we exist. This is a dot point list of what we provide. This is our team, and here's our contact form, right? We know, we've seen them all before. Really, your website needs to be a resource, and the silo structure that I've just mentioned should help you create this. Now, moving on from silo structure is conversion optimization. So really, this is a bit of an art and a science of converting a visitor that's visited your website to become a lead and ultimately become a customer. So the purpose of your website is to get attention online. Here we're talking about Google, and then provide that visitor with useful information that makes them want to contact you for your services. So again, there's a million things you could implement on this side of things, but there's really 4 quick things that you need to do and really need to make sure that you have implemented on your website to make sure that you're not wasting visitors. You know, people today will be coming to your website and either won't know how to contact you, or you're simply not sort of pushing them in the right direction to become a customer. So within Growth Titans, we sort of have a checklist that we go through for each client, and they generally center around these 4 things. So make sure you implement these 4 things. These are not really an option. If you have a website, just do them. The benefits are immense. Number 1, a clickable button with your phone number in the top right. A lot of clients don't want phone calls. They prefer contact form requests. Even if you have an automated answering service or an automated response that says, hey, please lodge a contact form request, I recommend having a phone number in the top right, and it needs to be clickable on a desktop, tablet, mobile device. They can click it and it calls almost automatically. Secondly, you need to have a contact form above the fold on every page. Above the fold basically just means it needs to show up on the screen without the user having to scroll, right? So a clickable button top right and a contact form on the screen the second they load the page. Third, website speed. You need to have a fast loading website. It may seem like a minor thing, but the drop off, the bounce rate is what we call when someone basically clicks the back button. The drop off by second of how long your website takes to load is immense. You want to have your website loading within 2 seconds. Based in Australia, really for an Australian visitor, it should be below 1 second. There's a number of ways to do this. Changing web hosts, using a content delivery network, minifying your images, and reducing all the plugins and tools and bloat on your website. If you have any questions about the speed optimization, feel free to email me. I can sort of give you a bit of a guide on what you can do. And finally, 100% mobile responsiveness. That means your website needs to show up perfectly on mobile, tablet, and desktop devices. This isn't a joke anymore. More than 50% of web traffic, especially on Google local search, is on mobile devices. Okay, so generally you should be really designing your website for a mobile device first, and then desktop devices second. That's called mobile first design, but make sure that your website shows up pixel perfect on mobile devices. Otherwise, you're literally just wasting visitors. Now, I did mention GMB, or Google My Business. For local service businesses, GMB or Google My Business is really critical. It's what shows you on Google Maps when you're searching for your product or service, generally in a local area. It's super easy to set up. There's this link here, google.com/international/Australia/business. You register your business. Many of you would already have it. Google actually creates one automatically when you have yellow pages or directory listings. Go in, verify it. They'll verify your address. Fill in all the information possible. Don't leave anything empty. Fill it out completely. And then regularly optimize it. Meaning regularly go in and make sure that all the fields and information fields are filled. Regularly make posts and upload photos. If you're with a client or at a job site somewhere, upload photos to your GMB. They actually have an app, so it's really easy to do. And this can be integrated with your content marketing. If you're posting content on social media or on your website, super easy. It takes 2 seconds to share it on your Google My Business profile as well. And thirdly, very important, generate reviews. Many of you would already know about Google reviews, but your Google reviews are linked to your Google My Business page. Now, everyone thinks that reviews help you rank higher in Google. They don't. We have many clients that had 0 reviews showing up higher than companies with hundreds of reviews. However, it will improve your conversion rate. So as you would know, someone's going to pick a company with 100 5-star reviews over one with 5 or 1 or 0. So while it's not doesn't do anything for your SEO, it will help you generate new leads. So pillar number 2, we've gone through website, content, structure, and your Google My Business listing. Authority is really what sets you apart. One of the things we focus on with our clients is providing fast results. And you see a lot of information online about the first part that I've talked about, your website and content, and that being like the holy grail of ranking websites. Unfortunately, you can go into an industry where everyone has a great website, everyone has great content, their structure is great, they've got a Google My Business listing that's well optimized. And sure, you're going to be getting leads. But getting ahead comes down to building authority. And authority is really your authority in Google's eyes. Okay, so there's 2 parts to this. And really the second part is the most critical, the link building side of things. And this is really how we get clients from not even existing on Google to first page for 1,000 searches per month keywords within sort of a 3-month period. Once they have a solid base, it all comes down to this. Link building through citations and guest posts. So if you're sort of showing up, you might be bottom of the first page, you might be on the second page for big keywords. We're talking multiple thousands per month. Generally, those keywords have high competition. I can almost guarantee that if you implement the citations and the guest posting that I'm going to be talking about, you can jump from any place in the top 10 pages to the first page by implementing this consistently over a couple of months. Like I said, we've done it for clients. We actually offer a guarantee with new clients where we'll get you onto the first page for those major keywords within 90 days, or we work for free until it's happening. This is how we do it. And this is really, if you can take one thing from this, it would be about building links and how to do it. Now, what do I mean by authority? Authority really means trust, and trust from Google in this sense. So we're trying to rank on Google. We need Google to trust our business, our website, as an authority in the space and as the best result they can provide to the person that's searching whatever keyword you may be targeting. Better website authority directly translates to better rankings, more traffic, and if you're optimized correctly, more clients. Okay, so here are 2 authority must-haves. These are, like I said, very important if you actually want to be increasing your rankings on a consistent basis. This is given that you have a good website structure and decent content, then you can go ahead and implement this. Number 1, citations. Citations is basically a citation or a mention of your business name, address, and phone number anywhere on the internet, right? So citations are a mention of your NAP. NAP being your name, your address, and your phone number. Okay. Generally, the best way to get citations is directory listings. Yellow Pages, True Local. We've got a list of about 120. If you do want a list of all the directories that you should be listed in, just send me an email, martin@growthtitans.com.au. I'll send you out a list for free. Just go through and register. fill it out completely as well as possible. The second thing to mention about NAP and citations is it needs to be consistent. Now, to the letter, to the character. So make sure your name is spelled exactly the same as it is on your ASIC registration, on your ABN, as on your website, and in all your directory listings. Have it exactly the same formatting for the address and the same formatting for the number. Otherwise, Google can get confused and you won't be building the authority within all the citations that you're building. So make sure it's consistent across the board. Now, links. The same way that you're registering your directory listings and including your NAP or your name, address, and profile, you can usually get a backlink. It's a good start. They're not really that strong, but if it's available, put a link to your website in those directory listings. But as I mentioned, for serious results, we need something a lot stronger. And there's two parts to this sort of stronger link building strategy. First one is press releases, and second is guest posts. Now, press releases are a great way to boost or sort of launch a new website or updated content. But the part I want to focus on here is the guest posts. A guest post is a post on another large industry specific website that links back to yours. Often these websites are very topical about your specific service, or whatever matters that you're dealing with. It can also be location based. So we're talking about blogs, article websites, review websites, and generally news websites in the local area or in your industry that are allowing you to submit a post or an article in exchange for, sometimes they'll request payment or a link. Now, within these posts, usually they allow you to embed 2 links to your website. And this is the #1 way to be increasing your authority in Google's eyes. A link, essentially, in Google's terms, is a vote of confidence. If a website that has a lot of clout or authority or trust links to yours, Google sees that, makes a record of it in their index, and sort of provides a bit more credence to your website. If you get more of those on a consistent basis, your authority and trust naturally increases, and that's where you're beating out your competition on the search engine results page. What we do to get those 90-day results is we find guest post opportunities on a weekly basis and get our clients published in it. Basically, it's a manual process of reaching out and saying, hey, love what you're doing on this blog. We'd like to write a blog post and post it on your website. Would you be interested? Some will ask for money, most do, but it's well worth it. Often you can pre-write the article, send it to them and say, hey, what do you think? Would you be interested in publishing it? And most of the time you'll get a yes. And doing that on a consistent basis, you'll be ranking on the first page quite quickly. So that's the baseline view of authority. Here's really some action items for you to go ahead and implement. Pillar 1 is your website and Google My Business listing. So step 1 is restructure your website, implement that silo structure that I mentioned. Have a think about your key services and how you can break up your website to make logical sense in terms of when someone's searching for a specific service, provide them all the answers they need, and then any supporting content for that information. Break up the website like that. Really make your website a resource that people are going to find valuable, not just a brochure. Go ahead and verify your Google My Business listing if you haven't already. If you already have your Google My Business listing and it's verified, go through and complete every part of it. Then go back to your website and implement the conversion rate optimization tricks that I've mentioned. Phone number, top right, clickable. Contact form above the fold. Make sure it's visible as soon as they load your website. Improve your page speed. There's really 4 things I mentioned you can do to improve your page speed. And finally, make sure your website is 100% responsive on all devices. I've got pillar 3 there. It should really be pillar 2. And secondly, as I mentioned, authority. Go ahead and register on as many relevant directories as possible, making sure your NAP, your name, address, and phone number is consistent across all the directories. And then reach out to large industry websites to write a featured article. You'd be surprised. You're a practitioner in your space and they want to hear from you. So you can literally just reach out via email and they'll be happy to publish an article. Just make sure you include a link back to your website in that article. So really there's 100 hours of content here that I've tried to condense for you as quickly as possible. If you do want to move faster and have all this implemented for you, someone with knowledge and experience in doing this, you can book a call with me. It's growthtitans.com.au/book. If you do have any questions about any of the content, I'm happy to assist and sort of provide clarification. Just send me an email, refer to a specific slide. I'll send you the recording after this. Any questions about implementing, or if you get stuck at all during the process, just reach out. I am happy to help. As I did mention, we do have a guarantee where we'll basically map out some keywords with you, and we'll get you ranking on the first page for those keywords within 90 days, or we'll work for free until you're ranking. So if you are interested in that, go ahead and book a strategy session with me. We'll jump through basically what your goals are, where you're at, where you want to go, and map out a plan of how to do it. But thank you all for coming. As I said, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. My email is martin@growthtitans.com.au. Thank you again for coming, and I really hope you found it useful. Thanks.